Hello, hello, hello. This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner. And today we're going to make tags. These exact 2 tags. Why? Because I filmed the process before I filmed, the intro so that I could have tags to show you, and I don't want to make more tags. So we're going to use these tags in the intro, and they're going to be the ones that we make at the end. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know it does. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I got to this point and give you a supply list and all that other happy stuff, and off we go. Be right back. Okay, supplies on this one. You're going to want an iron and an ironing board, some tissue paper, and then fabric. Now you can use muslin or canvas, whichever you prefer. You can even use, colored fabrics if you want, or colored tissue paper for the back. It's entirely up to you. But the trick to this one is this right here. This is Thermoweb Heat and Bond. This is the Ultra Hold. This is the red one, okay? And this one is a lot stronger than the purple one that we typically use. So I'm just going to walk you through the process here. I've cut a piece of my Heat and Bond, and you can see there's a shiny side and a dull paper side. We want the shiny side up. And then I cut that just slightly smaller than my piece of muslin. And that's to make sure that, it fits. Okay? And I want to make sure that this doesn't hang off anywhere, because if it does, this adhesive is going to get on the ironing board, and it is a pain to get off. Okay? My iron is set at cotton, which is the hottest setting for the muslin. And I'm just going to press this on. Now, initially, I'm just going to do a quick press just to hold it down. And then I'm going to come back. And what I'm doing is giving this about a 3-second count. Because the Heat and Bond has an adhesive on it that when you heat it up, it's like a glue, and the heat activates it. Okay? So now what we're looking to do is to see if this is done. And if it's done, it should be very smooth. And if it's not, just give it a couple more seconds. And again, if you've made book cloth, this is going to seem a little bit thick to you. And that's okay. Get this, there we go. I'm going to give that a second to cool, and we're going to move on to some canvas. So for the canvas, I'm actually going to turn this just up to between the cotton and the linen setting. Go ahead and cut a piece of my canvas, and I have another little bit of Heat and Bond here. There we go. So we're going to put that on top of our canvas. And these are just leftover pieces of fabric that I have in my stash from various projects. I'll trim this down just a little bit. There we go. And again, I'm just going to press this on. Dry, to cool. I always say to dry, but it's really just to cool. And then I'm going to peel the back off of this. Let's take a look at this one. go. And for the next part, we're going to get some tissue paper. Now, like I said, you can use any kind of tissue paper you want. And you don't necessarily have to use tissue paper, but I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing it. Okay, move that over. Put this up here. All right, so I'm going to put this down with the shiny side up. I'm going to take my tissue paper, shiny side down. Now, if you want this to be fabric on both sides, that works too. Just take the paper off and then put another piece of fabric over it and iron it on, okay? So I'm going to set this to the side and let this cool for a second. And we're going to talk about this one. So we all know what this is. All right. So this is, you know, trim and border paper. It's that stuff that you use when you're painting to mask things off. And this roll is pretty old. It's seen better days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this shiny side up, put the paper on top, and I'm going to press the paper onto the back. And now that is bonded to that. Once it cools, it will be anyway. Okay? I'm going to get rid of the iron and everything, and I'll be right back. Alright, so now we want to clean these off. So I'm just going to peel off the tissue paper. Okay, so I have the tissue paper off of that one. And then we're going to pull the paper off of this one. Save that. It's a good piece of paper. I know, we're weird. We save weird stuff. All right, so now I have my 2 pieces, and there's a couple of things that I can do. One, I can just take this, and I could just cut a tag out of it. Let me get this out. I'm going to put this on here. I'm just going to take a small piece of this off, okay? And then I'm going to make sure that I've got, you know, straight edges. I know it sounds so weird. And I kind of like that little frayed edge at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And then I'm going to dog ear this. What did I do with my scissors? How do I always lose them? There they are. Okay. And basically I have a tag. Now I'll back this onto some paper to make it thicker. So let's back this onto a piece of file folder. I think that's a fabulous idea. But because I like that little frayed edge, I'm going to actually make sure that I leave paper at the bottom, you know, space at the bottom and not. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the glue thing. And because this is paper on the back, I can use my regular art glitter glue. I can run this through my Xyron. Pretty much treat it exactly like I would any normal paper, okay? And again, like I said, if you don't want to put this as your background, like we did on the green one, you can just add a different kind of paper and just heat and bond that on, okay? So now I'm going to take this, put it on here, with my fringe hanging off. Press that down. And trim this out. Let's get paper scissors. Alrighty. So now I can put a hole in this, I can ink this up, I can add an eyelet to it, and I have a great tag, a little bit of fringe at the bottom, because that's a selvage edge, it's not going to fray anymore, okay? When I come back, we're going to talk about that other tag. I'll be right back. Alright, so for the next one, which is the one that had the green paper, we are going to use a die on this. You can run fabric through your die cutter, okay? Now, I know you can through the Big Kick. The Big Shot, the Big Kick, all of those. I do it all the time. I just make sure that I cut through it, you know, a little extra. So maybe, you know, 2 times through and back. I also have cut on my vagabond, so. Alright, so we're going to get that out of there. Which is great if you have to cut fabric circles for stuff. Like if you're going to make yo-yos. Alright, so now we have this. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the outside. And the inside. And then, same thing. We can pop a hole. We can add, you know, something else to this if we want to. We can leave it just the way it is. Imagine if you cut like 4 or 5 really tiny little tags and used them on a dangle. That would be so cute. Especially if you used coordinating paper on the back. That would be adorable. So, I'm going to get the dies out of the way and everything, and I'll be back. And, you know, we're going to stamp a little bit because the video is called Stamping on Fabric Tags. I'll be right back. So, let's talk about inks, because not all inks are created equal. These do not work for this application. Why? Because these are designed to add water to them and make them do weird things. What you want is something that's waterproof. Memento. Memento is permanent, okay? Also, the Ranger Archival inks, these are permanent and they come in some great colors. Not just black, you know? So you have a choice of different colors. That's a really cool one. Bluebird. I like that. Okay. You ever just touch your own stuff and go, what? Okay. Now, I have some stamps. Even stamps are created different. Okay? Alright, so this one is just, you know, it doesn't really require anything spectacular. It's just blurred type, you know? So this one, since we're probably going to just stamp this one randomly, what we want to do is just take it out of the package and let it rest for just a minute, because when you move these stamps, they stretch a little bit. We don't want it stretched. Okay, blocks. When you're stamping, the appropriate block helps because it allows you to put just the right amount of tension on the stamp without like pushing it down on the corners and making it go wonky, okay? So we're going to do this one, and I'm going to do this one in sepia. Sepia is sort of like vintage photo, okay? So I'm going to ink up the stamp, and then I'm going to stamp it and hold it. Maybe I'll do a second jet over here. Okay. And then I'm going to let that sit. Let's do this. Okay, and I will clean these after. Okay, so that is stamping, like, you know, with words, like abstract stuff. Okay, so what's if I want to stamp like a phrase? And let that sit. We're going to bring this out. This is my stamp press. Okay, you don't need huge things here. And we're going to get out one of these. Ooh, that's what is on there. Yeah, I'm gonna let it sit. And this one I'm going to stamp in black, and I'm going to stamp it on my fat little tag. This is my fat little tag, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on here. Fat little tag, taped down. Put this where I want it. How's that look? Like it needs a little help. So I'm going to pick that up. This is in place. I'm going to ink this. Okay, not doing this, just tap and pull. Okay, I'm going to bring this over, press it down. If it's good, I'm good. If not, because I'm doing this on the press, I can add a little more ink to the stamp, bring it over, and press it down again. Okay? A little bit more down here. There we go. Okay. This is a magnet board. Okay, I'll explain that. Okay, so we got that. Get this out of the way. So this is my little magnet board. And what it is it's a piece of metal that has a grid on it. And then I put a piece of graph paper on it, making sure that I lined it up good and straight. And I have these little magnets so that if I need to work on something, I can hold it down. Great for card making, but it keeps it from, you know, just shifting. I have to move it. Okay, love that thing. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to go and clean my stamps and my blocks and my everything, and then I'll be back and we'll do a little bit more. Be right back. All right, so to add another layer, we're going to use some rub-ons because, you know, we've all seen it done, right? We all watch those commercials. We don't want to, but they happen. All right, so I have this little rub-on, which I'm going to put on the side here, but I need to make sure that I don't cover up the words. And then I'm just going to rub it on like I normally would. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my tools. I'm going to put a big old hole in there. Yes. Again, you can use your regular tools. This is not going to in any way be an issue. If you have a string that won't let go, just just go ahead and snip it with your scissors. Now, I like that, so we're gonna go with the orange on this one. And I'm just gonna put that through the hole just like I normally would. See that? Right? Okay. A little ink on the edge. Again, this is the sepia ink from Ranger, not the vintage photo. Because what happens to those when they get wet? That's right, they move around. We don't want that. Okay. So we got that. We're going to come back in a minute and we'll have that finished. And then we have this one over here. And this one, we're going to do it a little funky. All right, so I have some other rub-ons. Let's see. Got a lot of feathers in this one. Okay, I have a clock face. And we have some keys. And some gears. Here's another one. And let's see what else. Actually kind of like these. All right. But not those. right, so we're going to kind of look at this, see where we want to go. What I'm looking to do is to fill the spots that I didn't stamp. That doesn't look right. Need something. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now it doesn't matter if I put the thing over my stamps. I think we're good. All right, so I'm going to take the backs off. I'm going to go ahead and put these on, and then I'm going to put a top on this, and when I come back, these are going to be completely done, and we're going to take a look at them, okay? I will be right back. So here they are. We're done. So this one, I couldn't help myself. I had to add the butterfly. Yeah, I know. It just looked a little bare, you know? This is a soft tag, so, you know, I could put this in something, or I can use this on a cover. I can certainly just glue it down if I wanted to. There's a bunch of different ways that I could use this. This one is thicker. It has that paper on the back. Still has that shredded edge. I just topped this one with a little bit of fiber. And, you know, all of the rub-ons. Let's talk about those. Not all rub-ons are created equal. Some of them don't want to come off on fabric. It's just, I don't know. Maybe there's too much, not enough to grab onto. I don't know. But when you are doing this, take one that you really hate, put it on a piece of your fabric, give it a good rub, see if it works. If it doesn't, don't use those. But other than that, you know, when you do put them down, just make sure that you rub them, and that this is that part where you take a little bit and you carefully lift it up, and if there's anything still stuck, put it back down and rub it some more. You know, this is a time-consuming process, but it's worth it in the end, because you end up with this really neat tag, or, you know, pocket or journal card or whatever you want to use. And that's it. That's all I got for you today. If you're new here, you know, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not painful. It doesn't even, you know, doesn't even really affect you. But if you want to know what's going on, what I have coming up, videos that are coming out, things like that, go ahead and check out the community tab here on the YouTube channel, or go over to my Facebook group. There's a link in the description box below. Other than that, thank you so much, and you have yourself a fantastic day. Bye, my friends.